Now, what is Dr. Berg talking about now? Eggs and butter actually helping your cholesterol profile? How can that be?
Great question, Dr. Berg. We've all heard health experts say that eggs and butter will raise your cholesterol and destroy the health of your heart. Basically, cholesterol has been demonized and propagandized for a very long time. I'm going to be looking at two case studies during this video. Dr. Berg's video that's called Eat Eggs and Butter, Lower Your Cholesterol. I'm also going to look at the What I've Learned video where he eats 900 eggs in 30 days. So in the What I've Learned video, he actually shows his lab test. Did his cholesterol go up or down? And did he prove or disprove Dr. Berg's statements and data, basically saying that you can eat eggs and you can eat butter and your cholesterol levels will be perfectly fine? Let's give it a review and a reaction.
Now, of course, if you have familial hypercholesterolemia, which is a genetic problem, this does not apply to that sector of the population. Also, if you are what's called a hyperresponder, this information doesn't apply.
If you have a genetic predisposition to having cholesterol issues, this video doesn't really apply to you.
Egg yolk has one of the highest sources of cholesterol mobilizing nutrients. Number one, choline, okay? And number two, lecithin. Both of these compounds help you mobilize cholesterol out of the body.
So in other words, these two nutrients can actually improve your cholesterol profile.
Is that one egg gives you roughly about 186 milligrams of cholesterol. But you have to also realize that your body makes cholesterol. It makes a lot. It makes like 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day.
So 3,000 milligrams versus 186 milligrams. Would it make any type of logical sense that the human body producing that much milligrams of cholesterol is going to be negatively affected by that little of cholesterol being added to the mix?
And in that egg yolk, Mother Nature has provided the mobilizers of cholesterol.
Mobilizing means removing cholesterol from the body.
Also, there is no study that shows that consuming eggs negatively affect your cardiovascular system.
So that's super interesting. There are literally 0 studies proving that eggs negatively affect cholesterol levels, which really leads you to the question of where did all this scientific information come from when people are saying that eggs and butter raise your cholesterol and can be a food that's bad for your heart health. Most doctors that you talk to on a regular basis will say that. Where does that propaganda come from? It may or may not have come from Quaker Oats.
Yet in one study, which is a pretty interesting study, it was talking about the two phytonutrients in egg yolks, lutein and zeaxanthin, which happen to improve the cholesterol profile in the carbohydrate restrictive group.
One could gather from that information that having a low carb diet also positively affects your cholesterol levels, heart health.
So they looked at people on a low carb diet and how their cholesterol was altered when eating eggs. They showed a lower oxidative cholesterol reading. They also showed higher levels of the type of LDL that doesn't create a problem in your arteries.
So there's two types of LDL.
The large buoyant LDL, and you also have the small dense LDL. In the group that restricted their carbohydrates, there is a much better LDL profile that supports healthy arteries.
In fact, there are many publications showing that buildup in the heart's arteries comes from sugar.
And the other thing that I found interesting about this study, they talked about lutein and zeaxanthin. Those two phytonutrients are better absorbed in eggs than they are in plants.
Dr. B, you're right. That's very interesting.
The other interesting thing about egg yolks is that they're a good source of vitamin K2, which protects the heart. It keeps the calcium from building up in the arteries, okay? It drives the calcium into the bone. So as far as a food that supports your heart and your cholesterol, eggs are right at the top of the list.
So K2 is a superfood, if there ever was one, for heart health and bone health.
Now let's talk about butter, okay? Now I'm talking about butter from cows that are grass-fed, grass-finished, not the typical grain-fed cow milk, but the grass-fed, which is a whole different thing.
So this is very important information to keep in mind. Grass-fed dairy products are not the same food as non-grass-fed dairy products, including butter, including whole milk. They're just not the same.
First of all, butter and these microbes greatly have an influence over your cholesterol. Your own microbes make bile salts, which help to mobilize cholesterol.
So it's firmly established that bile salts are involved in the primary regulation of cholesterol in the liver.
But anytime you consume probiotics or foods with microbes, like the cultured butter, chances are you're going to help your cholesterol profiles.
So basically what he's saying here is that a healthy gut biome and healthy digestion also improves the health of your heart.
Butter also is a good source of vitamin K2, which is great for the heart, if it's grass-fed.
Again, here's that K2 coming into the picture.
Butter is also great for anyone going through menopause because it contains cholesterol that can really supply the raw material.
I was vegan for 8 years. I didn't eat hardly any cholesterol at all. I was afraid of it because I had several doctors tell me that eating cholesterol from eggs and butter would destroy the health of my heart. Boy, they were wrong. So after 8 years of veganism, my hormones absolutely tanked. When I started eating raw egg yolks and butter on a regular basis, not only did my testosterone go up, but my GH went up and also my heart health improved. The most noticeable difference was my muscularity. I gained a lot of muscle with a lot of ease, and my sex drive went through the roof.
Cholesterol is needed to make these hormones. Cholesterol is needed to make vitamin D. Cholesterol is needed to support all the cell membranes. Cholesterol is needed for your brain, and cholesterol helps your immune system. Cholesterol is needed to make bile salts, which is very, very important.
All right, Dr. B, spitting facts.
And so this is why your liver makes so much cholesterol. It's needed. I'm going to list down below a study that was done. It was a randomized control study that showed that butter actually increased your LDL.
So his studies and references are actually down in the description box of this video as well.
I'll also include a link down below on the relationship between beta carotene in lowering your cholesterol. And if you're consuming butter from grass-fed cows, you're getting a lot of beta carotene.
So butter is actually good for heart health and can help with diabetes. Cool.
But butter also has several other things that are very, very beneficial for your cholesterol profile. One is called CLA. And CLA has been known to decrease cholesterol, decrease inflammation, help you lose weight, and it stands for conjugated linoleic acid.
So the word conjugated just means combined with protein.
And then butter also has butyric acid or butyrate. And this is a small chain fatty acid that also has the potential to lower cholesterol. And
butyric acid is the bomb for digestion. Many people don't know that.
And it's used to help fuel the colon cells. So it's great to decrease inflammation in your colon. It's also been known to support leaky gut, and it helps to prevent the absorption of cholesterol in your intestines, which is interesting.
Another nutrient in cholesterol that lowers cholesterol. Think we're starting to see a theme here, wouldn't you say?
Grass-fed butter also contains omega-3 fatty acids that can also have an effect on cholesterol.
Omega-3 fatty acids are well documented for their ability to be healthy for the heart and the entire human body.
So in summary, I would not be worried about consuming eggs and butter if you have problems with cholesterol, if you're concerned about your heart. Just make sure that you have quality eggs, okay, and you have quality butter.
So there you have it. The good Dr. Berg did a great job expressing all the data and giving you the scientific facts as to why cholesterol from butter and from eggs lowers or keeps your cholesterol the same. It's important to note, though, that there are other factors, including the source of your butter and your eggs. I think it's ultra important to get eggs that are corn and soy free, pasture raised if possible, locals even better. And with your butter, remember, it has to be grass fed or it doesn't really count. Okay, so now for the fun part. Let's check on the dude that was eating 30 eggs per day for 30 days.
This is 300 eggs. It's only gonna last me 10 days because I'm gonna eat 30 eggs a day for 30 days.
I'm super curious to see if his findings back up the data that we just learned from Dr. Berg. Also, I think it's really interesting to have a quick look at What I've Learned's video and look at what he was actually eating on a day-to-day basis.
A typical day of eating for me would usually be something like 30 eggs, a bowl of rice, a bit of beef, a small yogurt, some fruit, a bit of honey, and maybe a protein bar. So I was getting about 3,300 to 3,700 calories.
Keep in mind that the dude in this video is trying to bulk, which means he's eating an excess of calories, too much food on purpose to gain weight and to gain muscle. Gaining weight, gaining fat, eating more than you're supposed to be eating generally does not lead to a healthy heart, a healthy cardiovascular system, or any of that. So it's going to be really interesting to see that despite the fact that he's eating a ton of cholesterol from eggs, 30 per day, plus eating enough calories to gain weight and gain fat, which is not good for the heart, what will this actually do to his labs? It's going to be super interesting to find out.
Read the results.
The other blood work I'm sure you guys are dying to hear about is my cholesterol, especially the LDL bad cholesterol, because this is what everyone is concerned about. Believe it or not, my LDL cholesterol in fact didn't really change. My LDL cholesterol went from 102 to 108 in the first week, which is a negligible change. And then 3 weeks later, it was still 108.
Okay, so this is interesting that eating over 600 eggs didn't change his LDL very much at all.
Don't you worry about cholesterol?
I don't worry about anything anymore.
In fact, my HDL good cholesterol improved. It went from 37 to 43 in the first week, and it was 45 at the end of the month.
Okay, so as good cholesterol improved, that's a check mark for Dr. Berg.
And my triglycerides, which you generally want to be as low as they can get, went from 87 all the way down to 44 in the first week. At the end of the month, they were down to 39.
Wow, like seriously, wow. Huge improvements in terms of triglycerides. That's astonishing lab results for overeating plus eating 30 eggs per day. All of his cholesterol biomarkers were awesome. Wrapping things up, keep in mind that both Dr. Berg and What I've Learned is talking about eating a very healthy diet with the butter and the eggs. If you're eating a trash diet, one that has a ton of processed foods, you're not working out, you're not holistically healthy in any way, shape, or form, the data and results from this video probably are not going to be able to be duplicated. Dr. Berg promotes healthy, clean eating, working out, stress management, and just your basic holistic healthy lifestyle. So I think What I've Learned, video creator, not What I've Learned, plus Dr. Berg's obvious data unequivocally shows, in my opinion, that eating eggs and that eating butter, especially if you're holistically healthy on top of it, really has no effect on the health of your heart and your cholesterol levels. Over the past 5 years, I've been eating on average at least 7 eggs per day and a quarter to a half a stick of butter on a daily basis. That's 5 years straight. 43 years old right now. I'm in the best shape of my life. My hormones are in the best place they've ever been, even better than when I was in my mid-20s. And my heart health, despite having genetic heart health issues in my family, is absolutely perfect.